Your GPS isn't yours. The military can shut it off. And they have. GPS runs on satellites owned by the U.S. Department of Defense. The civilian signal you use, a downgraded version they'd let you have. It's called selective availability, a built-in switch to degrade or cut civilian GPS during a national security event. They turned it off in 2000, but the capability was never fully removed from the system. And it's not just the U.S. Russia, China, and Iran are actively jamming GPS signals in conflict zones right now. Drones lose navigation and drop. Ships go off course. Your phone gives you a location that doesn't exist. Here's what most people don't know. When GPS is jammed, your DJI's return to home fails too because it runs on the same signal. Return to home is a fail-safe for losing connection to your controller. Take GPS away entirely, the drone doesn't know where home is. The signal you trust every single day is one decision away from being taken from you. Episode 2 covers the tech they built to replace GPS when it goes down. They built 4 completely different systems to replace GPS. None of them can be jammed. Here's what they are. System 1 is eLoran. It's a ground-based radio network that sends signals 3 to 5 million times stronger than GPS. Penetrates buildings, goes underground, works underwater, and shares 0 common failure points with GPS. You can't jam it the same way. You can't spoof it the same way. The accuracy is as tight as 8 meters. In 2018, Congress legally mandated that the U.S. build one as a GPS backup. It's still being deployed. System 2, the STARS. In 2015, the U.S. Naval Academy reinstated celestial navigation after dropping it in the late 1990s when GPS made it seem unnecessary. The order came directly from the Chief of Naval Operations. The reason they gave, you can't hack the sky. Officers are being retrained to navigate by stars, sun, and moon. The same method that crossed oceans for centuries, because it has exactly one vulnerability: clouds. System 3, quantum navigation. In 2024, Boeing conducted the world's first in-flight quantum navigation test, 4 hours of completely GPS-free flight. The technology uses the wave-like properties of atoms to measure movement with a precision that outperformed traditional navigation systems by up to 111 times in military trials. The Royal Navy ran Arctic trials in late 2025. DARPA awarded $24 million in contracts for it in August 2025. It can't be jammed, it emits nothing, it doesn't need a signal from anywhere. System 4, dead stars. In 2017, NASA demonstrated navigation using X-ray pulses from millisecond pulsars, neutron stars, that spin hundreds of times per second with the precision of an atomic clock. The experiment ran on the International Space Station. The concept used signals that have been traveling across the galaxy for thousands of years as a universal positioning system. No satellite needed, no signal to cut. 4 systems, all operational or in active military deployment, all funded because the people who built GPS know exactly how fragile it is. A Stinger missile costs $120,000. This laser costs $3 per shot. That's why every military on Earth just changed direction. It's called a directed energy weapon. No warhead, no reload, just a focused beam held on a target long enough to heat the skin until it fails. Structurally, silently, in seconds. The cost per shot is electricity. And here's why that timing matters. For 15 months in the Red Sea, U.S. destroyers burned through over $1 billion in missiles, shooting down Houthi drones that cost $2,000 each. A $2 million response to a $2,000 problem. At scale, the defender runs out before the attacker does. Lasers reverse that math completely. The thing holding them back isn't money or politics, it's weather. Rain, humidity, salt air, they scatter the beam and bleed the energy before it reaches the target. That's the one engineering problem left to solve. But here's what nobody's connecting. Those cheap drones bankrupting missile defense, they run on GPS. The same signal the series started with. Jam the satellite, flood the airspace, and you don't need to beat the laser. You just need the missiles to run out first. F-35 isn't invisible. It's engineered to look like a golf ball on radar instead of a fighter jet. The shape deflects radar waves, the coating absorbs them. The weapons stay internal so nothing breaks the silhouette. It works against the specific radar frequencies it was designed to defeat. The last part is what nobody says out loud. Stealth is optimized against the high-frequency systems that guide missiles. The low-frequency VHF radar operates on wavelengths so long that the shaping and coding barely matter. The aircraft reappears. This isn't a theory. A Serbian crew used a Soviet-era VHF system to shoot down an F-117 in 1999. The U.S. has known about this gap for 25 years. The old limitation that was low-frequency radar could see stealth but couldn't target it precisely enough to guide a weapon. Detection without a kill. That gap is closing. In May 2025, China unveiled a truck-mounted VHF system its developers claim can not only detect the F-35 and F-22, but guide precision strikes against them. Western analysts aren't convinced it's been proven in combat, but the claim itself is a shift. The question stopped being, can stealth be seen, and became, can it be targeted? And the weapon waiting at the end of that radar track is GPS guided. You already know how fragile that is. An hour before Russian tanks crossed into Ukraine, Russia killed Ukraine's military communications network. The invasion started on schedule. The command structure didn't. Ukraine's Minister of Digital Transformation sent Elon Musk a tweet asking for help. Within hours, Starlink was active. 2 days later, the first terminals arrived by truck. Infantry units that had just lost their communications were suddenly running real-time drone feeds, targeting coordination and encrypted comms on a product built to give rural households broadband. The military didn't build this. The Pentagon didn't plan for it. It worked anyway. Then it got complicated. Starlink terminals broadcast a detectable signal. Russia built a dedicated system called Kalinka specifically to hunt them on the battlefield. SpaceX responded with software updates fast enough that the Pentagon's director of electronic warfare described watching it as eye-watering. Then Russia started smuggling Starlink terminals onto their own attack drones. The same network keeping Ukrainian units alive was now guiding Russian strikes. SpaceX responded again. Speed limits on fast-moving signals, then a full authorization system to disconnect every unverified device in the country. A private company rewriting its own product in real time to fight a war it never agreed to enter. That's not a story about Ukraine. That's the new architecture of every conflict that comes after this one.